Hi, teachers. So, I wanted to talk about how you can help support students as they learn about emotions and classify emotions. I have a free training, which I'll link below, all about going through and classifying emotions because we have to start with understanding them first, right? Students won't be able to identify their emotions if they don't have the emotion vocabulary. So, my free training is all about helping students develop that. Not only that, but got some free resources for you in that training. So, check out the link and the training. So, today I want to focus on Inside Out. We've all seen the adorable movie. It's fantastic. I hear there might be a sequel. I'm excited for it. Anyways, right here, I have my chart. It has the five main characters: joy, sadness, anger, fear, and disgust. I'm sorry it's not closer. This is like the first time I've done this in my office. And the amount of books that my computer is stacked on right now, there's like 13 of them. Um, so I want to kind of go through what this might look like in your classroom. Now, I am primarily focusing on kindergarten through fifth graders, elementary students. And yes, I do say it elementary. It is a New York thing, but just like a part of New York. There are these free question prompt cards that are in the free resources, in the training, in the link below. My suggestion, especially with the younger students, is you spend a few days talking about one emotion, and you use these question cards to help and stimulate that conversation, that discussion with your students. Then, once you get through and you're ready to move on to another, you stop and you say, "Hey, look at this chart." If they don't know the characters, find some clips on YouTube. I bet there are plenty that would give an example of what each emotion is so that your students can have a better understanding. Okay, so say we're talking about, let's see, we're talking about mad, right? What if we have mad? Okay, so we've been talking about mad. Where would that go? Where would we put that? Would we put with joy? No, no, that doesn't make sense, right? How do we look when we're feeling mad? Yeah, that's what we would do. Okay, so which face? Oh, anger. It might be anger. And so we'll put that there. And now when they're feeling mad, they'll say, "Ooh, I'm red, I'm mad." Then there's a color to classify that. As we go through, you'll see the obvious. I mean, they're sad. You can put that up with them or not. I was going to make this poster like absolutely beautiful, but one, my Sharpies I found out are like all dried out. And two, I wanted to show that this can be really simple, right? You are teachers, there's not enough time, especially for social emotional learning. So keep it simple. Some lines. That's all you need. And I found these images on Google, printed them out, cut them, taped them up. All right, so let's get to some of these tougher emotions because I want to help you as you go through. So we have happy, right? Happy and joy, different words, similar. Cool thing to talk about, especially with older kids. Which one's more joyful? Is happy more joyful or is joy more joyful? Kind of like those shades of meaning. So we've got happy here. Then we come up to a word like confident. The conversation as you describe and build students' vocabulary and understanding on the word confident, where would that go? Well, likely it'd go under joy. So, as you are building this chart with students, you are going to be able to say, okay, so where are like what character are you? Like what color do you identify with? And then they say, "Oh, joy. I identify with joy." Okay, so now let's go look. There's this whole list of emotions. Which emotion fits you? So now, with a deeper understanding, they can go and identify exactly which emotion fits them. Because honestly, peaceful would likely go with joy as well. So we'd put that there. So maybe they're not exactly feeling happy, they're just feeling peaceful and they're just testing out what does this feel like, right? Knowing how to name those emotions and describing them and building that vocabulary is going to really help them as they move forward to not only identifying their own emotions, but then regulating those emotions because we're all going to come up. Wasn't hard. I started with joy because it was an easier one. What happens when you walk into embarrassed? That's a tough one. And that requires students to talk about really what is that? What is that word? Where would it fit? Because honestly, it could be sadness, it could be disgust. And that depends on your class. No chart will look the same. Every year that I did a color classification with emotions with my students, which was like 5 or 6 years, there were differences between each grouping of colors and emotions. And that's fine. That is totally fine. It is what fits your students. So I'm going to put embarrassed under sadness. Um, we come up to different things like again, shades of sadness. So there's also upset, right? And that kind of the feeling that you might have changes with that. We go through and you not only have angry, but you could have frustrated, right? You could feel frustrated where it's not exactly bad, but you're feeling irked, definitely irked. And I think another would be irritated right there. Irritated is another. And being able to name that, well, I'm not mad, I'm frustrated, or I'm beyond frustrated, I am mad. That's really important. And then there are some more more important ones that I feel need to be discussed. And these are the ones that can be the most tricky because they deal with those uncomfortable emotions. Granted, anger and fear can be uncomfortable, but I do believe that where it's like anxious, where would that go? It might go under multiple ones. When I feel anxious, I feel like I resonate toward fear. Your students might agree. They also might not agree. And whoopsie. Well, we're going to set you there because I lost the piece of tape. Um, Another one could be nervous, right? Nervous, I would identify more with fear. But if your students identify that differently, again, totally fine. So now, as you're building your list and students are understanding what these emotions are, they're developing a vast vocabulary. So then, when you approach a student who you see is struggling or having a difficult time, you can say, hey, I notice that there's an emotion going on that doesn't seem ready to focus, ready to learn. Can we talk about that? Do we need to go check out the chart? Let's go see. So, where are we going to start here? What color are we going to go under? And from there, you can help them identify their own emotion. And from beyond that, then you can help offer them strategies and ways that they can regulate that emotion. But today, all I want to focus on is helping you and your students identify emotions and be able to classify them in a way that makes discussing them a little bit easier in your classroom. So I hope that's helpful. Again, if you found this useful, check out my free training. I'll put it in the link or in the space below. I would love your feedback. Go ahead and leave a comment. Was this helpful? Was this not helpful? I've got a few more charts and a few different ways to classify emotions. But the easiest and my favorite was Inside Out. And it's really accessible, especially for young children. And there are videos out there for you to use with them. So I hope you all have a great day. Happy Monday.